What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Vicktory Life Legacy Spotlight. I'm your host, and Dwight Vick, owner and founder of Vicktory Life. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I'm coming back with a very, very special panel, one of the best coaching staffs in all of the VA and the DMV, arguably the East Coast. These brothers right here created an organization, PME, which is not only taken over the state, but is well recognized nationally. And also Freedom High School head coach Daryl Overton, who just recently won a Division Class 6 state title and has really created a program where guys are committing all over the country, D1 and D2 players. So we're going to get into it, gentlemen, man. I'm very honored to have you guys on. So this is the largest panel I've ever had on the Vicktory Life Legacy Spotlight. So Daryl, I'm going to start with you, Jeff, and then we guys just introduce yourself. Daryl, start with you. Introduce everybody who you are.
Coach Daryl Overton, head coach, Freedom High School, founder, Playmakers Elite Athletics. One of the guys.
No doubt, Jeff.
What's going on, Coach Jeff Overton? I coach at Freedom High School, defensive backs and defensive coordinator. I coach PME 7 youth football. And like you said, just another one of the guys on the team.
All right. Coach D. Coach?
I'm sorry. This Coach Daryl Hall, PME North 10U. Like I said, part of the OTF family. Just came this year. Just excited, ready to go, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Coach, you coach a new expansion. Where you at again? For all the viewers out there, where you at?
We on the Maryland side.
Okay.
Across the bridge.
All right. Across the bridge. All right, Coach Cody. You muted, Coach. Coach Cody.
Yeah, I got you. What's up, man? Coach Cody Williams. I coach at Freedom. I coach the wide receivers, and I also coach PME. I'm the head coach of PME 12U.
All right. All right. Coach Jwan.
Coach Jwan, head coach PME 8U.
All right. And Coach James.
Hey, how's it going? Coach James, PME 9U head coach.
All right. Coach Mario.
PME, how y'all doing? PME 11U.
All right. Welcome, gentlemen, man. Like I said, this is the largest panel. We still gonna have a lot of fun, man. I first was introduced to PME when I coached football. I coached football, then I coached basketball, and I'm retired now. I just do my legacy spotlights. But I keep track of all the stuff on Facebook and Instagram. I first got introduced when I bumped heads with Coach Jeff Overton back when I used to coach my first year with the Warriors, man. We played them in the championship. And since then, man, the PME has taken off. The Warriors have done their thing too, but I want to focus on PME tonight, man, and also the Freedom High School football program. I think it's pretty remarkable. A guy that lives in Northern Virginia now the last 20 years, but a guy from the 757 like myself, it's very reminiscent of what we did in Hampton and Newport News, where we had the youth programs feed into the middle school, and the middle school fed into the high school. Subsequently, we won a lot of state championships, a lot of regional championships. So, Daryl, you're the head coach. Tell everybody how the PME organization got started, the whole, OTF, Only the Fam, man. Just talk about that, man.
Well, briefly. So, man, 2015. So, like you said, everybody here kind of ties together some way. Me, James Overton Miller, Cody, Mario, and Reggie, and then Jeff at that time. We started off with 3 teams in like 2015. Me and James had coached together, other places, Dale City, CRA. Me and Cody was playing against each other flag. Obviously, Jeff, my brother, I know my whole life. Mario was with us, with everything we've done from high school to now. So it's really one of the things, like, we was just tired of Dale City Sports Club, and we was like, let's do it. In the first year, we had 11 and 13. Yeah, and we had a 6. So Jeff's team was 6, and then 11 and 13 was actually both those teams went to national championship and lost that year in AYF. Both of them made it. They were 2 good teams, and then Jeff's team kind of still played. Jeff and Mario's team kind of still played in Dale City. And then the next year we brought on Cody. We went from 3 teams to like 6. Just brief. That's how it came about. It really wasn't, no love lost. We got into it with nobody.
We was Mighty Mike. Mike. Actually.
Right. Actually, Jeff and them was Mighty Mike, and Mario and them was 6 years. Somebody was young. I remember that. Well, I thought we've had 3 teams. Now we've boomed to 11. Not just that, but me and you talk. We got girls AAU.
Yep.
We got a men's flag team. We got a lot of other things. Getting ready to start softball.
Wow.
People don't know we had lacrosse for one summer, and then the coach just moved away, so we lost that. So, we've kind of grown, and this core group of guys, it's kind of people that helped me get there. Honestly, it built it up. Coach Jwan, even when we were kind of together with arena football, but then he was the mutiny. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And we always knew each other. And then we kind of, like you said, pulled all the pieces together. Even Coach Daryl on the Maryland side was competing against him in flag football as well. That's how I met him and Coach Cody. And then, like you said, life just bring you full circle, man.
Yeah, it does. Coach Jeff, man, like I said, I met you years ago when your son's a year behind my son, Isaiah, man. I remember seeing him, and, I didn't know how to take you at first, man. I was like, yo, this dude has got energy. I don't know if he trash talking, if he I remember I saw you one time, we weren't playing, and you were like, yo, Big Vic, get your popcorn ready. You were talking to me and Zach Terrell, man, and, it was all love, man. And since then, man, you and your teams have taken off, man. You're very passionate. You're very outspoken, but you also are about competing at the highest level, man. Just talk about like what PME means to you and what you've been able to do since you've been coaching, your kids on the youth football level.
Well, PME for me, man, like Daryl just said, man. I mean, obviously he's my brother, and he kind of gave the softer side of it, but I'm gonna give the other version. We had been with CRA, good organization also, and my brother was just like, man, he was going to start his own thing, and we just hopped out there, and like you said, that was with that Mighty Mike team. So PME for me is family for one, but like you said, we've built relationships with other coaches that's on this thing on the Zoom right now. We built relationship with parents over the years, and to where now it's developed only the family. And a lot of times people used to ask us, what does OTF mean? Like, it means only the family. And what that means is that, all families go through stuff. People have their bumps in the road. Of course, we don't get along, but we're always very competitive. We probably go at each other harder than anybody else can go at us. And we're very competitive with each other. And like you said, a lot of people, when they meet me for the first time, I can come off very passionate. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say what I got to say, but I'm also, after the game, I can shake hands with anybody. Like you said, Dwight, when we met that year in the championship, that was one of the biggest games around here. And, you guys had your son, who's a standout basketball player now at Patriot High School, Amari Campbell, who's at North Carolina now, Zach Terrell's son, who's playing basketball at Osborne now. So that game was star-studded back then. Like you said, there was a lot of trash talking going into it. And, you guys did come out victorious. But at the end of the day, like you said, my goal and my vision was always to, put my kids in the best situation and compete at the highest level we could. And I know we're not there yet. I know you touched on coaching and going to touch on it later. But I always loved playing football and, watching my older brother coach the Redskins back when, I was younger and still, finding my way. He was coaching football. My brother, I always looked up to him. We always going to be competitive with each other. But, he's probably the reason I started coaching. And then ultimately my son started playing and I fell in love with it. I tell parents all the time now, each kid is my kid because I do love them. We create that bond with kids. And, sometimes I apologize. Sometime in the youth football world, we forget, most importantly, it's about the relationships and the bonds that we create with the players and the parents. That is ultimately what this is about, and just building that communication and those life lessons through football. But, PME to me is just family, man, and just good football. And we're going to all stick together through thick and thin.
No doubt, man. And you guys, I've seen it from afar and I've been up close as well. You guys have a great brotherhood, man. We're going to talk about how that relates to the players here in a little bit. I want to hear from the other coaches. Jwan, I've known you, as the youngins say, a brick. I've known you a long time, Jwan, since my youngins, when Isaiah was playing Manassas Park. Next thing you know, we were the Mutiny. Next thing you know, man, you've been coaching everywhere, Jwan. And every time I look, man, you got something going on. I think you and I last spoke. We were up at out in Woodbridge during the 7-on-7 league, and you are always coaching, always helping kids, man. Just talk about like your role in PME and also just your vision as a coach, man, because you've been coaching a long time. My son is 17, and I met you when he was 6 years old. So that's just the time I've known you. But just talk about, your role with PME and your vision as a coach, man, because you work with a lot of kids. A lot of them play in college now.
Yeah, so this year I'm the 8U coach. Last year we of course was 7. I came over to PME 3-4 years ago. My son came over during COVID. Played on Coach James's team at the time with 6U. I was a dad on the team at the time, and I was like, "Hey, you want to coach 6U next year?" And I was like, I don't know. And then, I started dealing with the kids and stuff like that. So I was like, I felt like, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a chance. This is my first time coaching my youngest son at the time. And it's been, we've been at it since. Last year we just won, AYF Nationals last year at 7U. Good group of kids. The biggest thing I would say, man, like Jeff touched on, from 7-on-7 to tackle, we all competitive. Even, when I was in different organizations playing against Daryl and Jeff and stuff like that. But, we always been, it's about football. We started, this goes way back before that. When we were CRA with 7-on-7, Daryl, we had it was the picture that's out there. It was a lot of the OGs on that coaching staff. But my biggest thing, like I said, organization is great, coaching is great. Most organizations that you have nowadays, it's not from top to bottom. It's not about, it's not as strong. Sometimes you got organizations that have, 1 or 2 good teams. But I say from 6 all the way up to 13, we're strong. And not only that, we also have coaches that have coached, and at a high level. I think right now, almost every one of our rosters has coaches that have coached in high school. From 2 to 15 some odd years. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I noticed, that the kids are actually all the way through getting high school level coaching before they get to high school.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing. But I think right now, man, with football, and we look at it, I see a lot of stuff, with social media and stuff like that. I think that we as adults, we as, grown men, as coaches, like, we definitely, social media and all this other stuff is only going to get to where it is, if you allow it to. I say that stuff all the time. I see little comments and stuff in groups. And I always say, you control your own team, you control the outcome of your organization and stuff like that. So if you let other people dictate and, tell you how to do stuff and how you want to do this, it's going to be failure.
Yep. No doubt. I agree, man. We're going to touch on that near the end of our show about the hate and the vitriol people have for PME and freedom, which is interesting to me because you guys are helping young men in the community, but we'll touch on that. I want to hear from these other guys too. Coach Cody, man, how you doing, man? Tell everybody what you coach and also, your role with the PME and your vision?
Man, I've been with both PME and Freedom since the beginning. We came with Daryl, like he said, we met playing flag, and then, you know, just conversations on the sidelines led to me asking him, "Hey, man, when you get an opportunity, I want to learn the game a little more from a, you know, football standpoint." So he brought me on the first year he came. I coached the DBs, me and another guy named Corey at the time, Coach Corey. I actually with PME, I didn't do much that first year because it actually was the same time. It was the first year. So I was the equipment manager. And I actually did that up until last year. And you know, that's a cool thing. Everybody gotta have a little role in this in making it work. You know what I mean? Like it don't just work just because everybody come and coach. Everybody got to do some other stuff. So, you know, taking a role and doing that, and then like now we got like a five team board or something, and I'm on the board. Me, Daryl, James, Grandma, and Miss Yvette, and kind of keep a lot of stuff going. But you know, the first year I didn't coach. You know, I just hung around, watched the games with PME. The second year, my son actually played for Mario. Mario was a tiny Mike coach. And my son was 4 or something. I think he was 4 or 5, but either way, he was a safety hazard out there. But otherwise, you know, just seeing it all grow. With Freedom, Jeff touched on it, and you touched on it just now. Seeing the difference and some of the hate, but for me, it's different because I didn't see it from the worst to where it is today. You know what I mean? And that didn't happen like that didn't, you know, this going on year, 9 or 10. So, you know, I didn't seen it from the 3 and 7 year. You know, the 3 and 7 year, the COVID year, you know, first round of playoff loss year. Like I didn't seen every bit of it. You know, the years where we thought we had great teams and at Freedom, and then something would happen. And, we didn't get over the hump. To seeing it to last year, to getting over the hump. You know, that's you know, it's just vilifying really being there, being a part of it and stuff.
Coach Cody, before I get into I want to touch it with the rest of the coaches, but you said something I want you to touch on real quick. You said the board and you were the equipment manager and you had different roles. Speak on the fact that, and I know this because my relationship with Daryl, but let the people know you guys are not just some dudes. Y'all are organized. Y'all have a system. Like y'all have meetings. Y'all are organized, right? Like
yeah,
this is professional, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're not just, you know, the funny thing is sometimes people see us and, you know, they see social media personality of people and all that, and they think that no work goes into it. You know what I mean? Like that nothing, they just, you know, they see, you know, some of the characters that we allow them to see, and they just assume that no work goes into it. Like it's, you know, from equipment to schedules to sizings to uniforms, and we've gotten better at all of it over the years. Fundraising, like just all of that stuff, individual fundraising, org fundraising. It's a lot of schedules, getting fields. I don't deal with all of that, but somebody does. You know what I'm saying? To make it work. You know, getting practice fields, all of that stuff. It's gotta be organized for 300 kids to just show up and be able to practice and play football. You know what I mean? Like they not having to. They don't have to go find a field themselves, or they don't have to, you know, do certain things themselves. So it's well run. Of course, we've done things wrong, but we've also corrected them over the years and got back, you know, got on a good foot and learned lessons along the way that's helped us out. And that's not just for PME. That's Freedom as well. And you know, that's not just off the field. That's on the field too. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've done a little bit of everything, and then, like I said, we've got, I think, 3 national championships now. We've probably played in about 10. Played in over the different age groups. We played in about 10 national championship games. I know Jeff played in 1 and he lost. I played in 1. Daryl's played in about 3 or 4. Jwan won 1. Chris has played in 1. So, you know, the success it shows. It shows on both levels. We finally got over the hump on the high school level. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I definitely do.
it's one of them things where you just start to see things, see your success, and see your fruit. See your seeds grow.
No doubt. It's actually really cool for me, man. We're gonna talk about freedom because I can't wait to talk about freedom because what you guys did last year, especially breaking my alma mater's record, the scoring record, Hampton High and Manchester. People don't realize, Jwan knows, man, that Hampton High team with Ronald and them was special, man. Y'all killed that scoring record.
Funny thing about that Manchester game, the irony in that the Manchester team, not that game, the Manchester team is that they broke the record on us. They broke the scoring
that's
record
right.
on us.
That's right. They sure did, right? Wasn't in the state championship game, right?
In the state championship game, yep.
Yeah, I watched that online, man. Yep, and that was a tough pill, but you know what? Daryl said you guys were going to be back, and you haven't left. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I want to get to the rest of these great gentlemen. Coach Mario, man, your name's come up, man. So your turn on the mic, man. Tell us about yourself, man, your background, your role with PME, and what you enjoy about coaching with PME.
Yeah, I've been with PME from the beginning. Me and Jeff played high school ball together. When we grew up in semi-pro with Daryl, we all played together. So, that's initially how it started. I think we were all coaching against each other in Dale City at one point. Dale City Sports Club.
That's crazy.
We were coaching against each other. I think I was with the Patriots. They were with the Redskins. So that's kind of how it started. Then we got to the CRE level. I've been a part of Jeff coaching staff for the first couple of years of a lot, learned a lot, you know what I'm saying? And enough for them to trust me to get my own team for a little bit. So have my own team, make a long story short, kind of got into a career change. So I stopped for about 2 seasons and then got back in it. And now, so I'm with this group that I started with. Like I said, I've been coaching including Dale City, for about 14 years now. So, it's a family thing. We go back since we was teenagers. So it only make it right to we all stick together. We all got our roles. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here. I always support the family. So that's what it is.
No doubt, man. What was it like when you said you played with Jeff, right? And Daryl, you said you played with Jeff?
Yeah.
How was it, man? When you played, like, because I didn't, how was Jeff? How was it playing together? Just take me back to some of those memories.
If you think about it now, just look at 3 times worse with the trash talking. You know what I'm saying? 3 times worse back then. But he always stepped up to the plate. He always been a player to play at a high level. If anybody can say anything about high school kids that ever came out of this area, so the Overton brothers definitely gonna be on that list. So we can't
absolutely
take that away from it.
Yeah, I think when I interviewed Daryl and I did his legacy spotlight, I think that's what I took away is the fact that when you talk about VHSL, Overton's got to be mentioned with, the families, the Vicks and all the, those sports families. And we talking VA, we're not talking some crap state. So that's pretty remarkable,
Right.
man.
Right. But I think the biggest impact from all of that is, though, the turnaround to now to where, and I think, we're not there yet in the segment, but hitting on that is kind of why I'm so passionate about what I do. Like you said, I did compete at a high level as a player in the high school, won a state championship, was a decent player on a really good team, made all state, honorable mention, all met, all those things. But I think my biggest prize is being able to get back to the kids now and let them know, kids now want the real. They want to be able to feel like they can identify with you, and you have to be transparent with them, So I think all of our, roads have led to here because this is what we were ultimately went to do. Coaching has filled a void in my life as far as playing, but now I'm actually giving back and I can impact on lives, from the mistakes that I've made also.
No question. And I actually appreciate that a lot. And I know the youth appreciate that even more, Jeff, for real. Coach D, PME North up in Maryland, man, which I didn't even know about. Please tell me about how that's going, and your role with PME and your relationship with the coaches.
Man, I just want to start off just saying, man, just thankful and grateful to have the opportunity from Coach Daryl to put this platform on the other side. I've been watching them for years and years and how they move and how they operate. Like I said, like D said, we played against each other in flag football. I had my own team, and we was competitive, man. And like I said, I love football. Football is my passion. I've been coaching for about 5 years now. At first, I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to be a parent and just watch the game. But I started training kids, and then that's what brought me back into coaching. Was I started training, and then DMV Prime gave me the opportunity to coach over there. And shout out to them as well. They gave me the opportunity too. But I just felt like my role, I felt like I just needed to grow some more, and I reached out to D, and we put this Maryland thing together, man. And now over the Maryland side, we got 7U, we got 10U, and we got 11U, man. And everybody on board, man. We banging, we trying to compete, at a high level. We trying to get to them championships like they all have been, too. But at the end of the day, man, we all got the same vision. And my flag team was with OTF as well. So it just all makes sense, man. And I believe in family oriented. I'm the only child, but I love, my brothers. I love the people that love me. You know what I'm saying? I'm very passionate about this thing, and I want everything to strive to the top and to give the kids the best opportunity, man. I see a lot of bad coaching outside of here, man. Outside of this, or a lot of bad coaching, I just couldn't deal with it no more. So I was like, let me put foot in here and show them how to do this thing, So I've been building my team since they was 8U, and now I added some better pieces, some more pieces, and we growing, man. And we just trying to get a shot at what what's out there. And we want
Coach, let me. Sorry to interrupt, man. I want you to touch on
to,
something, man. You said, and I don't need you to name names, but I've had conversations with Jwan about this years ago when I used to coach football. You said something that I want you to speak on. You said a lot of bad coaching out there. And I've seen Jeff in different platforms speak on this, but I want you to speak on it from your perspective. What does that mean? Because I don't know if all the parents understand what you mean when you say, I see a lot of bad coaching out there. What does that mean?
Well, to me, it means to me is pretty much teaching the boys the right way to play the game, but also teaching them life, because at the end of the day, this is the first level of their career. They got so much more in life, so much more to accomplish. And I just seen that these coaches, they either about just winning, or they just about dealing with the parents and what they want. You gotta do it for these kids and put them in the right position for the next level. That's my whole thing. I want to teach them the right fundamental. That's why I go to coaching clinics and do all the other things, because I want to do it the right way, give them the right path. So that way, when they leave me and go to the next coach, I could be like, man, I put them in position. Now the next coach they get them, they like, man, oh, this kid is smart. He's intelligent. He got the IQ. He know this. He knows that. You know what I'm saying? And I just see a lot of coaches, man. They don't know certain things like drills. They don't know how to personnel. It's just a lot of things that I just be seeing. I be like, wow, this is not. I can't put my son under this coach, and he won't be able to progress.
Yeah,
and you holding them back, man, because you just in it for another reason instead of being in it for the real reason.
Yeah, no, well said. And I wanted you to expound on that, because that's exactly what I was thinking of, but I wanted you to verbalize that to the viewers, man, because I think people don't realize, man, one thing I've known from day one, battling with Jeff and just watching all the different things on Saturdays, and kids that leave y'all program go to the next level and they know the game. It's not just like, oh, he's an athlete. There are a lot of athletic kids that don't know how to play the right way, or they're not put in position to succeed.
Exactly.
With you guys, there's a true evaluation piece. You guys are getting guys to play sometimes in the position they should have been playing before they got to you, especially the older kids.
And that's
Coach
what drew me over.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what drew me over to reaching out to Coach D and making this Maryland thing happen, because I just seen the way they move. I like the way they did things from a distance, and I want it inside. I want to get up in here and join this group of family of brothers right here and try to do my thing as well.
Yeah. Coach Daryl, man, before we talk about freedom, I want to get into a last part about PME, and we're going to talk about what you guys are doing on and off the field. But when you look at, when people look at Only the Family on Facebook, and the flags y'all wave sometimes, man. It's either loved or hated, man. Why do you think when people see that, is it because you win so much, or is it because you guys are recruiting kids from other teams? What do you think some of the bitterness comes from, Daryl?
Honestly, I mean, you know how it is, man. It's success. It just comes from it, man. I tell people all the time, you know, kids and parents gonna go back and forth between teams no matter what. So that's gonna happen. And everybody, when they come to us or go somewhere else, you know, everybody got their own poor me stories of what happened to them. I think that honestly, I think we had a point where more people, you know, they might not like us, but they gotta respect what we're doing.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I like to take from it is this: no matter how you look at it, you know, I know that we doing it for the right reasons. Like, it's because of the kids. Like, think about this. Like Cody touched on, it takes so much to run an organization. We didn't stop at football. You know what I mean? Like, if it was just about us walking around with bravado, look at us, football, you know, we the football guys, we would have stopped at that. You know what I mean? So many times. But, you know, we've added, you know, girls basketball. We've had boys lacrosse. You know, we've added so much. We have a men's flag football team. Like you said, we talk about kids. What about all the 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds that come play flag with me and Cody, and we got to talk to them and be big OGs to them more than some of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, they had all the games, freedom games. In my line, Cody, they on the sideline. They come see us. They everywhere. And so it's a bigger movement than that. So I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I've grown past. I don't try to figure out why nobody hate or got an issue with PME, because at this point, it's just, you just mad. You
That's
know what I
my
mean?
job.
You just mad. And I think the biggest misconception is this: everybody see me and they're like, "Oh, he do everything." Like Cody said, you know, we got great coaches that run their teams. I don't micromanage none of these coaches. If they want to go play in California, Houston, Dallas, Ohio, New York, take them. Our job is to figure out how to make the kids experience it. It takes a bunch of adults putting their egos aside to make it happen for kids. Even me, I know what my strengths are. I surround myself with people whose my weaknesses are their strengths. You know what I mean? Like you said, we have a basketball operation manager that's wanted to take care of all the basketball stuff. The girls' basketball AAU team is 20-9. They just finished in national semifinal. All right. Then you talk about having softball. All right. Then you talk about having, you know, like you said, we have equipment manager, a board. Jeff is the head of UIFL, or has his own conference. They got a preseason tournament. So think about this. It's not just about, it's building up the people around you to be successful. You get what I'm saying? And I'm okay with that. It don't got to be about me, because that's never was my drive. And I think some people, they got, you know, real deal hate buried. They feel like I started this to win that freedom. But I started this before I was even coaching that freedom. I was at Colonial Forge. You get what I'm saying? If it wasn't about me making sure the kids had the best thing in our community. Look at this. You know this. Let's be real. Lil Nas, that's my guy. Has he played with me one time? No. But you know, I'm gonna rock with him and do whatever with him, his dad. We family, because it's not about PME or freedom. It's about kids in this community, and everybody here is the same way. I feel like if it's my job, if Coach Jwan got something to offer, if Mario, if Jeff got something to offer, whatever I can't give the kids, I need to find somebody that can. And I need to be able to, and I've been good at being able to get out the way and let somebody else do it and help me, or help me get organized.
And Daryl, so let me ask you this, man. Two-parter, real quick. All of this you name for the youth level is all volunteer, right? Y'all not getting paid for this, right?
Nah, nobody gets paid. And like you said, I'm gonna tell people this is the crazy thing. We all spend more money than you can ever get. And you know, the crazy thing is people think I'm getting rich off of this and I'm sitting there swimming in dollars like Scrooge McDuck. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, every time you turn around, you spending money. You spending money, all of us,
Yep.
not just me. But again, when you do stuff from the heart, you don't even remember that. You're not counting it. You're just doing it from love and you moving on. So again, you know how it is, man. People, that's the other thing. People have that misconception about everyone. We got a rule with us. Our coaches don't even collect money. They're not, our coaches don't collect money. The only people who do that is admin people. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, man, at this point, you know, people, whatever they come up with, they're going to come up with. But, you know, we've done it. We've learned and we do things the right way. And like I said, man, I allow these guys to push the brand forward in any which way. I think so many times people get in a leadership role and they scared to let people grow around them. You know what I mean?
And I do. I know. And my second part to that question is, you know, you have, even before I met a few of these guys, I've known Cody and Jwan and Jeff for a long time. You talked about being in a position of leadership. I've been in position of leadership for years myself. One thing about great leaders is they take feedback from their, you know, their colleagues, their soldiers, their assistant coaches, the other coaches. Daryl, has Jwan ever come to you and say, hey, you know what, we might need to fall back and not do this tournament. We should, you know, we need to focus on this. Do you guys have those conversations where you guys have your meetings, you talk about the future, what's best for the program?
Well, I think the way we do it, that's the other thing that makes it unique. We do it the brother and the homeboy way. Like, it might be joking, like, why are you going to that? That's too early. Y'all gonna get spanked. But I think what I've been able to do is be a good listener. Like, okay, Jeff got a reason why he liked this UIFL thing. Jwan got a reason why he doing this battle thing or AYF thing. I'm okay saying, all right, let it play out. Coach Daryl, okay, he hit me up right away. We jumped on like 4 conference calls. D.O., I love what y'all doing. I want to add this into it. Okay. You know, Cody will call me, Mario, Jeff, like we all the time, like, yeah, what do you think about this? Maybe we need to look at this next year. You know, sometimes as a leader, you're like, man, I don't want to hear that. But it's still sink in. So that's a good thing. All these gentlemen, I mean, these men, man, my brothers, they keep it real with me all the time. And you need people around you that tell you what you don't want to hear sometimes. And we can disagree and then circle back and we can laugh at each other either way and go and say, I told you so. But even better, like I said, I feel all that feels like, man, you can't be scared to let people grow around you. When you keep telling people, no, I don't want to hear that, like, it's about you. It ain't about the kids. Like, why would I care if Daryl want to play a little earlier and take kids from PG County, Maryland, DC, a little earlier to Virginia Beach and play football or somewhere else? You kidding me? Or Jwan going to take kids to Miami. You get what I'm saying? That would be taking experiences away from kids if I did that. So again, I don't get long-winded. I know we got a lot to do, but I would never, because again, it ain't about me.
Well, with that being said, Jeff, your mic is on. So I've been wanting to ask you this question for years. When you, Jeff, and Jwan, you can take your mic and put your mic on too. When y'all are, you know, on Terrence's live or y'all on some of these chats and people get to talking real slick, and Jeff, you don't shy away from confrontation on and off the field. Does your brother ever hit you and Jwan and be like, hey, fellas, let's just stop talking, man? Does that ever happen? I've been wanting to ask you and Jwan that,
honestly, again, that's my brother. He know I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, but he always be like, man, y'all, you know, entertaining these guys and, you know, responding to them. But again, that's kind of why PME is at the level it's at now. Other people help generate our brand more than us. The more you talking about us, the more we speaking through your living rooms to other kids and that's how the brand is building. You know what I mean? So again, yeah, he might tell us don't entertain this or entertain that, but again, that's also the beauty of PME. He's not really, you know what I mean? He there, but he ain't really there. You know what you should do and you know what you shouldn't do. But as far as, people talking and rumors and PME this, PME that, I'm always going to defend PME because I'm PME. You feel me? Like I said, it's my brother's org. It's the org, this is what I am. It's no question, no if and it's no buts about it. So I just feel like, even though I may not have to defend the situation, I'm just crazy enough to still defend the situation, man. My coach Sorrentino told me that back in the day. If you're good, you don't gotta tell nobody. You know what I told him? I said, shit, I'm gonna keep telling.
Jwan, what about you, man?
Man, I'm getting a little old, man. I try to stay off as much as possible until somebody bothers me.
Yeah. Well,
I leave that to Jeff.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What you say?
I said I leave that to Jeff.
Yeah, but you did say something, and we definitely going to touch on this. This is a positive thing because I want to talk. I was talking to Daryl the other night. I want to talk about how you guys are Black males, and sometimes with other successful coaches, especially with the Freedom Program, they try to put you against other coaches like the head coach at Phoebus or Lauren Johnson at Holland Springs. But Jwan, you said something on that new Prince William County chat that I want you to touch on. You said our young men have been flying across the country since they were little. I'm not sure everybody in that chat knew what you were talking about. Can you just speak on that, what that means as far as PME players have been flying to Miami and to Texas? And what do you mean by that, traveling? I know, but just speak for the people watching this.
So, like, my point behind that was the fact that I think that some high school coaches don't realize, like, what our kids have been through, since they've been, in youth league. So I know me personally, my biggest thing when I started was I always wanted our kids to experience outside, going to Florida, going to Georgia, wherever to compete. So when they came back here and playing on Friday nights, it was easy to them. That's one thing. Like I always, like traveling, down south to play in 7-on-7 tournaments because it's, you going down there playing against the best of the best, and you come back here, and no offense to any of some of these other schools, it's a cakewalk to them, because they didn't already, just played the best of the best. But my biggest thing is with that comment, and I think a lot of parents and some of these other schools don't realize that, what Jeff and Daryl have in that group at Freedom, those kids have already been there, done that.
Well, if I could chime in real quick, it's not just about Freedom because again, there's PME kids all over in high school football that came through our program that don't play with Freedom High School. We have PME
high school play for us.
Yes. So if you, Dwight, you know this, you're involved with this. For the people that don't know, there's a lot of PME kids to where if they all came to that school, that nobody would stand a chance. You got your Daniel Coles, your Zions, your I'm not good with all the names and remembering. Daryl's the guru at that, but we have so many players that play at Hilton or Garfield or Mountain View or DeMatha or, just all over the place. St. Francis that came through PME program, and it speaks to the level of coaching that our kids are exposed to at an early age, like Juan said.
No doubt. Yeah, no, and good segue, Jeff, because I want to touch on Freedom. All you guys are affiliated with Freedom because of your affiliation with PME. And Freedom High School last year put on a show. Make no mistake about it. They put on a show. But that show didn't come without controversy. You guys have been targeted for years, right? Because before you guys got affiliated with Freedom and started coaching there, Freedom was not very good. It's not taking shots at the previous guys. They just weren't a good football program. They had talent, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden they're in the playoffs, regionals, going to states, and it was like a hurricane coming. You saw what was being built. Last year, you guys broke records. There was a lot of talk on the Hampton Roads Facebook page about the 757 and this, and then I'm in all of that. And they were, I kept trying to tell people they were for real. You guys were for real. And then I remember one night, and anybody can respond to this. This ain't just at Daryl. Anybody can take their mic off and respond to this. So I'm at the Patriot game because I was like, I ain't going over there. I don't know who y'all were playing. But I walk in and my son's coach, Sherman Rivers, said, yo, you seen the Freedom score? And I was like, nah. But I'm by the concessions, and there's kids, everybody on their phone like this. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing and seeing y'all almost scored 100, right?
Not almost, we did.
Yeah, y'all did, right? What was the score, Jeff?
It was like 112. I don't know. Don't give me the line.
So let's talk about that, because Daryl got some heat from other jurisdictions, Fairfax, and it was every message board, right? So on one end, it showed you how powerful you guys were, because a lot of the scores weren't even offensive. But then on the other end, there were people saying, you know, y'all being petty, it was personal. Freedom had a great run and won a state championship, but it was it wasn't without controversy. So anybody can speak to your thoughts on that, and we're going to touch on the program and the players, but anybody who wants to speak on what really happened. I know, Daryl, you were on the podcast with my homie Julian, you talked about it, but anybody was there. Anybody, go. What? Go ahead, Jeff.
Let me just chime in on that situation. I mean, I think when you speak about, you know, because honestly, I was always, my brother be like, yeah, this and that, and I'd be like, nah, you know, again, I try to come in with that, no, that can't be this, that can't be that. But I can speak on my own personal situation to where I was in a situation and, you know, I couldn't, coach at a game because of a song that I played, but they played that song at every sporting event. So the controversy, I didn't believe it until that moment. And I was in a situation where, of course, I wanted to fight, but at the same time, I also love my job coaching. So, I mean, as a young Black man, I was in a position to where I knew what was being done to me wasn't right. But at the same time, I just didn't know the platform or what to do to fight it. And my brother said, man, if you want to do this, we'll do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, you know, go whatever. But, you know, I know directly some of that, hate, some of that, you know, controversy and that adversity is what makes freedom what it's always been. I mean, you know, before I got there, my brother, you know, I coached at middle school, like, man, learn the game. When you get here, you'll be ready. So again, just the adversity that, you know, they go through and that they've been going through. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's not a pity party. It's not a something we want to use to play victim, but some things are just, you know, just the truth, and it just is what it is. But like you said, we're not going to really go into depth and detail, but, you know, kids at our school do go through different things, and we are put in different situations to where it, to me, directly seems like they want to affect the outcome of what we're going to do on the field. And Daryl does a good job of blocking that out, no matter what it is, and one at a time of blocking it out and letting the kids know, you know, we got one thing to do, and that's to play the game and to keep winning.
Yeah. Coach.
Hey, I about to say, I speak on a little bit on the
Go
game
ahead, Cody.
itself.
I was actually going to ask you to speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the game was kind of funny, but it's a lot of things that played into, honestly, that score being like it was. And you know, just like you, we read everything, we see everything.
Yeah.
So of course it looks bad, and everybody can make it as bad as they want to. But the bottom line is, one, we were the better team. Like that's going into the game, we were the better team. It's no surprise that we won. But it was a perfect storm of things that was happening in that game that you know, that contributed to the score being the way it was. Like you said, we didn't score a lot of offensive touchdowns. I mean, we scored a lot of, let me take that back. We scored a lot of offensive touchdowns, but we scored, like, I want to say 8 special teams and defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
And at one point, the score was like, it was out of hand, but it was regularly out of hand. It was like 50-something to 0, but it had like 5 minutes left to go in the half. You know what I mean?
The first quarter, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, like the first quarter, but Daryl even took his foot off the gas. You know what I mean? Obviously, the kids never gonna want to take their foot off the gas, but Daryl took his foot off the gas, and so with a minute, and this is when I knew that we was gonna score 100, because we was talking about it. It was like, nah, we're not gonna score 100. Like, we're not trying to. But it was a minute and 35 seconds left to go in the first half, and the score was 74-0. Now, you know, when they get to the second half, they're gonna run that clock, and it's gonna be almost impossible for you to kind of score like you want to. I mean, they run it through timeouts, through change the possession through everything, it seemed like. But they kept doing stuff. They kept doing stuff.
Well, Cody,
they kept doing stuff that's like, dude, do you want to just keep getting your head kicked?
Yeah,
in?
it was a lot of bad coaching on the other side. I mean, I'm not.
Hold on, Jeff. Jeff, it was Colgan, right?
Yeah.
So didn't the guy that was over there used to be with y'all? Was he on your staff?
I mean, the same thing you just said. The guy. I mean, there's no disrespect to him, but again, just because the guy came from here and you didn't really stay and manifest or learn everything that you could have learned, and that's not me knocking that guy. But it also at the same time, it's never personal. It's always business. And football wise, they made it, like Cody said, they did a lot of bad football things. They made a lot of bad football mistakes. So it wasn't personal. We didn't plan to score that much. Like Cody said, it just kind of happened. But here's the bigger question I got, Vic. Why do we have to explain why we scored so many points? I mean, obviously, if there's a record to be broke, or we didn't create the history. The history was already there. Why is it now that when somebody tries to overachieve and it's, in a minority, why is it a problem? We didn't do anything wrong, but that's all we were. We were made villains. We were this, we were that, all because of a football game and because we wanted to actively compete in the game and our JV players were in the game. Nobody said anything when he called a timeout at the end of the game trying to score on the JV players. I mean, at a certain point, like I said, I mean, no disrespect to those guys, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and they coached bad and they lost bad.
Well, to your point, I didn't know this. I heard Daryl speak on this, and Sherman Rivers, the head coach of Patriot, because he grew up on that side of the county, explained it to me. Freedom does not have the same depth as an Oscar Smith, a Battlefield, or a Patriot. It's not like y'all have 84, 67 kids. I didn't know
that's
that.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to really get to. We really actively have last year, we probably had about 23 kids that we played.
Mm-hmm.
About 23 kids that shouldered the load on both sides of the ball, special teams. And then, of course, once some of the JV kids' quarters add up, it pushed our program to about 40. But we dressing 50 kids and about 22 of them playing.
But that's what we want.
Both sides of the ball.
That's what we like.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this, Coach Mario. You've been quiet. I want to get your take on this, man. You are part of this brotherhood, the family. I want you to speak on something Jeff touched on, and I've been seeing this long before I met you guys back, even when I played at Virginia Tech. And there is a double standard for communities like the ones we're from, whether it be Hampton, Newport News, Dale City, Woodbridge, Dumfries, different places where we're from, especially when we get in positions of leaderships as coaches. Can you speak on that double standard that Jeff talked about? Because I don't know who it was, but somebody came on the Princeton County Facebook page and said, why does not anybody say anything when baseball scores 30 or 40 runs or softball, but yet when y'all did it, it was it was you. Yeah, it was you, Cody.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, that was Cody.
Yeah, it was Cody. Mario, can you speak on just the role of as a Black coach and the double standard? Or do you think there's a double standard?
I mean, I definitely think it's a double standard. I think that's just the world that we live in right now. We're going to face, kids are going to face that, adults are going to face that. That's the reality. But I'm not on the coaching staff, but I felt that it was only right. Like, I think that was the first time I ever seen personally a team get scored 100 points on in the game. So the internet and social media, the next couple of days after that was, I felt I had to say something or defend, defend that brand, because, nobody goes into the game saying, man, we're going to score 100 points today. So, we can always say what we want to do, and we got goals when you get to the game. If we do this, this, and this can happen. But, just like Jeff said, they shouldn't have to defend themselves on why they scored 100 points. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Facts, you know what I'm saying? I mean, outside looking in, like I said, I'm not on the coaching staff, but, being in the stands that day at the game, that was a history maker. Everybody that they have a chance to witness history, you know what I'm saying? And everybody in those stands embraced it. And it was crazy because nobody ever, even when the score at halftime, we're like, man, we leave it. You know what I'm saying? But we couldn't leave because there was another defensive touchdown. It's like, dang, they scored again. And then after that, it was, nobody wanted to leave after that. So, you know what I'm saying? It was an excitement moment for the county. The county should be excited that, you know what I'm saying, that it's a record being held, that's something that the county should be proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Even though it did have another fellow county member, but at the same time, that's a record that holds in Prince William County that, you know what I'm saying, freedom, that freedom's on. And they happen to win the state championship the same year that they made more history. So,
well,
good.
Yeah, man. And it was historic, man. And it was great to see, man. I am so excited about this upcoming season, man. But, we'll end the show with that. But in regards to just reflecting on last year, Jwan, I want you and Coach Daryl to talk about this piece. Jwan, you and I've had conversations, you in many group chats. And Jeff, you see it. I know, Daryl, you see it. You don't speak on it unless you really want to defend your program. But for decades back when I played, it was the 757 versus everybody, and everybody tried to say that there was no talent in Richmond in 804. There was no talent like the 757 in Northern Virginia or even Southwest Virginia. I've been adamant on all my different platforms saying Virginia as a state has gotten so much better. Like if you look at the kids, Cam Courtney's and all these, I mean, these kids are like everywhere. Talent is everywhere, right? But Jwan, when you saw people talk about like, you guys weren't playing anybody and your district was trash and freedom was overrated. Did the players see that? What did you think, as far as a coach that's with this program? What was your thoughts when you read all that?
Well, I actually don't coach at Freedom.
I know, but you affiliated with it.
But, I look at it from the standpoint where, Prince William County, I've been here since I've been 10 years old. And we've always had, I'm a little bit older than Daryl and Jeff and them. But, we've always had great athletes, whether it was football or basketball. We've always had great athletes, track, baseball, and I think that we always had the opportunity to compete against, the 757. I think here it was just now the kids are able to play year round in different sports, especially football, whether it's 7-on-7 training and stuff like that. So they're starting to keep up with, a lot of the southern states and stuff like that. And not only that, people don't realize this. Northern Virginia, especially in Prince William County, we have the turnover ratio. We got a lot of predominantly military families that live in this county. So sometimes in wherever districts you're in, some of the school districts you're in, some of the schools, you might have a whole group of kids that you're cool with, in middle school. Next thing you know, their parents have got shipped out, because their parents are in the Army, the military, and stuff like that. So that's one thing you got to deal with. And then, you touched on it, Dwight. You from Hampton, Phoebus, Hickerton, Hampton. Those schools been there since the 50s.
Yes.
And here it seems like every time you turn around Prince William County, is a new school getting built.
Being built. Yep.
So that's another thing that always hurts. So that's probably one of the biggest things. It's not like Texas and all these other states where you go through the feeder system, you go to this middle school, you're going to this high school. It's not always the case. And Jeff said it before. There's kids on PME that play at different high schools. So just imagine if all those actual PME kids actually went to the same high school.
Yeah.
You think that 100? Yeah. You think 12? It would have been worse.
Yeah. No. Right. Coach D, PME North. I know you were across the bridge. Did you keep track of last season what Freedom was doing as they're on their road to a Division VI VHSL state championship? Were you keeping track?
Oh, no question. I definitely was keeping track. I follow high school. I follow college. I follow everything. But what they did last year, man, was amazing. I couldn't even believe it. I think it was like 113. It was something crazy, and I was like, no way, man. But I was just so excited for the guys, man, and glad to be a part of this mission, this well-oiled machine right here, man. I'm learning from the best, learning from them, and like I said, man, Freedom is something special, man. They're gonna continue to grow and be great as they continue to move forward.
Yes, I agree. Daryl,
And I
back to you.
can't at the game too. So I just
What'd
wanted
you
to say
say?
that. I can't wait for that.
What'd you say?
I can't wait for the games this year at the Math game. I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be good.
Well, good segue into my point, because the official / unofficial voice of Freedom High School football is Jay Golson, and he carries that Freedom banner. I'm surprised I should have got him on here. He carries that banner, and he came, to his credit, he came on. You know, we all pay attention to those group chats. He came out from day one. I'm mad I didn't go up there when y'all scrimmaged the Mather, and the video surfaced. And I even, I did a second glance. I said, wow, that's the Mather. And he came on there, in his little voice, said, freedom will win state. And he came on there, and I was like, wow, like Jay Golson was adamant. But to his credit, he said, based on how y'all was smacking the Math in the mouth, Daryl, and again, I always like asking coaches this after the fact, because I know you can't say it, but your team, you and your staff, Jeff, even the guys on here that don't coach at Freedom, you guys all coach, and when you have a championship team. Did you know, Daryl, was it at that moment, or was it even during, the preseason, that you were like, yo, we're going to take this thing this year? Because you had been knocking on the door. Y'all had been knocking on the door. Was it the Mather scrimmage? Was it when y'all played Garfield? When was it that you knew that this team was the state championship team?
Well,
Years ago.
I don't want to be a jerk, but you didn't, honestly, bro, like, you don't know that until we was at Madison and it was over. Now, I'm just saying it because, like, one year we felt like ain't no way we could lose, and then our best player the week of the regional championship gets in trouble in school and he's suspended. Can't play Friday. So when you're dealing with high school kids and injuries, you never know. And just stuff that they go through, like, you're right. I knew we were good, no doubt. But you never feel safe until the end. And some of that stuff, like we said, might not even be football related. I know with us, it's anything they can find, they'll try to, hem us up. So the thing I will say is this, I feel like I knew we were going to be good, you know what I mean? But the thing that I try to get all coaches, it's not just my youth, but even other coaches, like, you don't know how good you are until you line it up versus somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you get a false hope of security and overconfident by going against yourself every day in practice and patting yourself on the back how good you are. Now, I will say this. I don't think we played particularly great versus the Mather. I feel like everybody else was just, like, excited we didn't back down. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I do.
They played it. Like, I didn't feel like we met the physical challenge on the offensive side of the ball in the trenches. You know what I mean? So everybody else just patting us on the back with the Mather. We looking at it like we got a lot of work to do. And, the coaches, remember, specifically from that point on, I was probably tougher on the offensive line than any group that I've had in the last 5 years. So, the coaching me, like, not even just on saying something because it's cliche. You don't know. Like, your potential, but college, NFL, your potential will get you fired if it don't pan. So, well, we knew we had the potential. It still got to pan out. You still got to develop, get better. The thing I will say is I was very happy that team got better every week as the year go along. And then that's when I started looking around like, okay, this might be scary because they're getting better every week. So not just a test of the kids, but the coaches that was getting better was when I was like, okay, it's going to take something crazy to stop us from moving down this path.
No doubt. Jeff, you mumbled something when I asked your brother about when you knew you guys were going to win it.
I mean, he gave you the head coach answer as he should, but I mean, like you said, again, we want to talk this back to, the youth. I've been preaching to these kids from they was 9 years old. When you get there, we going to win. I mean, it's video proof. I mean, again, he's going to give you that. And of course, it sounds cliche to just say that, but I've always felt like this was the ultimate goal. Played, to get to where we're at now, compete at the high school level and to win a state championship, and not just one. We want 2 and 3 over these next 2 years. And I think over the next span of 6-10 years, Freedom High School will have 6 state championships or more. I can promise you that. I mean, now when I say that, we're going to work hard. We're still going to do all that. And I don't want to put a bad bone on us. But again, one thing that I've learned from one of my older coaches, Pops, is believe. And we've always instilled that in the kids, believe. So again, he can give you that head coach answer. But for me, I've been preaching this message to my kids: play together. When we get to here, we're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared. And you guys are going to win state championships. So again, I know in my household, we're not done. That one from last year is over. Nobody cares about it. People still disrespecting us. And we are still hungry at practice. So for all the coaches watching, we are hungry. We still the same guys who can't coach, who don't know how to discipline their kids. We are still hungry, and we are not done. We ain't satisfied.
Let me ask you this, Jeff. Your son, and then I want to talk about Division 6, but I want to get to this point. Your son, who I've seen grow up, like I said, he's a year behind my son, and I was on the podcast. Might have been the Kirk and Bird show, or might have been the joint with Julian, the Nova Legends podcast. But I was asked about the Player of the Year, and he was one of my candidates. And I talked about like what he did was remarkable. You got to understand, I'm older than you, so you know who I've seen. You know, and including who my cousin is. So when I look at what your son did, and Prince William County's region, like Jwan said, is tough. I've been living in Northern Virginia now 22 years, and there's some talent up here. You got Gabe that was at, Patriot, Amari Campbell. I mean, we're not talking about, we're in the middle of nowhere. We got talent all over. But your son put on the show, and I follow him on Twitter. He's getting offers. Just for a few minutes or seconds, just talk about the pride you have being able to see him not only win a state championship like you did, but also the record-setting performances and how he did it week in and week out, everybody knowing what he was going to do, and they couldn't stop it. Like, just what was that like from a father perspective?
I mean, from a father perspective, I mean, of course, after every game, whether good or bad, I tell my son, good game. But ultimately, I don't tell him what he got to do or what he need to do. Jeff is a very humble person. If you did it, you probably can't get more than 5 words out of him. You're going to get more words out of me. But of course I was proud of him, but ultimately most of the time I got to look at the situation as a coach. And, I don't coach him at running back when he plays at the school. Daryl and Coach Amerson and some of our other coaches coach him in that, area. But every week, Jeff attacks the game as it's a new week and he's got something to prove. I'm always trying to put a chip on his shoulder. It's constantly, yeah, that was good, but, can you do better? What I mean? I try to just push him as best I can. And, I also, sometimes Daryl got to, man, but again, that's a part of the relationship we have. But I definitely, I'm proud of him. But I still think there's more work for him to do. It's also a testament to the O-line that he had and the kids.
Thank you. Yeah.
These are kids that they don't just have a relationship right now. They've been blocking for each other. They've been playing for each other. So I think just all of that together led to a lot of his success. A lot of the receivers that we have are dynamic. So you can't really just, everybody's success. And what I try to tell him is your success is the team's success. The wide receiver success is your success. We wouldn't be as good as we are if we didn't have as many great players as we had. So, again, for him, I'm proud. I want him to keep doing more. And ultimately, I just want him to keep having fun. And, records come and they go. And it's all about, what can you do now? What have you done for me lately? So last year's record ain't this year's record,
No doubt. And I side note, it's amazing. I did not know he was the opposite of you. I thought he talked like, I'm not playing. I didn't know he was quiet. That's crazy.
He's quiet. He's very humble. Good kid, man. Honestly, if he had that dogging him that me, he probably might be 10 times better. But great kid, great athlete, man. All of our guys are, and proud of all of them, and they all are just humble, grateful kids, and just, good teenagers. And like Daryl said, we've been blessed, with a good group, and we're gonna continue to do that. And the other groups he's had has been great too. So, it's just a testament. It ain't about Jeff, it's about everybody. And that's the other biggest thing I try to teach him. Like, you can't do this without you. Don't forget that. Family, you can't do it without your line, you can't do it without your coaches. That's another thing that, we got to really home into the youth nowadays. The game is bigger than you. It's about everything else that's going on around you. It's about your home life. It's about, some of that adversity that Daryl speaks on in the speeches before we play. And ultimately, when people hear those speeches, the kids, the parents, it just brings out another level of competitor in you to where, like, I'm going to go out here on this field and give it my all. And all the coaches do a great job of getting their all out of all the kids, man. And, Daryl has put me in a position to where I'm talking to coaches now all the time and dealing with college coaches and promoting other kids. So I'm thankful and I'm blessed to be in this position because of these kids and where it has gotten me to where, I can call several coaches, any day I want and promote whatever kid I want. But at the same time, my brother has taught me the value through that relationship is you're only as good as your word. So, we don't advocate something that's not true. And we try to speak the truth to the coaches. And, I'm just blessed to be in this position, man. And I'm thankful for the kids and I appreciate them. They saved my life when I was 21 years old and, they're still saving it now. Sometimes I don't think the kids understand that side of it.
No doubt, man. Daryl, and well said, Jeff. Daryl, I want to touch on something that your brother said, and that's been stirred. Everyone on this panel has seen it. He talked about like the plan is to win not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 state championships, right? You got to believe, which I don't have a problem with. I love it. But one thing I talked to Sherman Rivers about and Carlos over at Hayfield and other coaches like yourself, Division 6 has now gotten crowded. For years it was Division 5 was a tougher division because it had Maury, Highland Springs, Green Run, or whoever. But now you got Mountain View, you got Highland Springs, and the moment Highland Springs moved up, everybody started talking about Highland Springs and Freedom because you're talking about 2 great coaches, great coaching staffs, 2 great guys that give great speeches. Lauren Johnson is no secret. We're very close. We played together at Tech. His family and I are close. But Daryl, I've known you. You and I have gotten close over the last 3 years, and I have a lot of respect for you. We talk. I text you after games. I hate that. Like on the field, yeah, y'all supposed to go at it. It's competition, but just talk about your view on just not Highland Springs, but just yourself as a coach and what you're focused on and how, like, you shared a story with me about, like, after Highland Springs played, y'all were playing next and LJ met you and showed you some love, man. Just talk about, your thoughts on that whole.
So, honestly, it's mutual respect, man, with me and Lauren. Crazy thing, like I said, so we getting off the bus for the state championship to walk into ODU. And all the Highland Springs players, fans, coaches, they making a tunnel for us and hyping us up as we walk in. And like I told you, Coach Lauren, dap me up, whisper in my ear, pretty much take care of business. But it's a great relationship. Me and even the AD, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah.
Like, we be joking and talking all the time on the net. Like, so it's mutual respect, man. We scrimmaged Highland Springs at, a couple years back.
I was there. I ran off Macon. Jeff gave me he DM'd me the address and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, it's a mutual respect thing. You got to respect what they've done. They're one of the premier programs in our state, and we trying to get to that point and that level. So it's mutual respect, man. It's not even no bad blood. Again, I'm not looking at them because I know we got to make it to that. And I know they would say the same thing. So
yeah,
it's all love. And like you said, even all this outside stuff with other people in these groups, man, the Phoebuses and Dinwitties, like all these people are good. Maury, Like all the best teams are the best teams, but I think it kind of go back to this, like to everybody else that seemed like something new, but when you coach youth like Jwan, Jeff, you know, Coach Daryl, we've been playing against them kids forever anyway. They've been on Glen Lee, the Hurricanes. They've been on the Spiders. We've been seeing them. It ain't. It's not like so. That's the great thing, like you said, with the youth foundation is, you know, going to other people's neighborhoods is a part of travel youth football. It ain't nothing new. You know what I mean? So again, you know, nothing but respect. I got nothing bad to say about Coach Johnson. That's my guy. You know, even Mr. Daniel, that's our guy. You know, Cody got ties. We joke with the 804 guys that play flag football with us. He be hashtagging freedom by 40. But we just be talking junk. Even in one group, me and Mr. Daniel, they're like, why y'all drop freedom? I'm like, yeah, man, why you drop freedom? But me and him already talked about, we already knew why. It was just, we just joking each other, man. So it's all love. And again, it's a point that we got to get to. I don't care about what nobody got to say. They've won multiple times. It's nothing to talk about. They're at the top, and we got to get there. And if we happen to have to cross paths to do it, it is what it is. But right now, it ain't nothing to talk about. They upper echelon, you know, those guys, we just got to the table, and, you know, we're going to try to stay here and eat.
Well, yeah. I tell you, by the way, Coach Cody, I've noticed something with you. Everybody talk about Jeff and Jwan, but you are the quiet assassin. You stir the pot. Be seeing you on everything. You in all the chats. You stir the pot. But what'd you say, Cody? What'd you say, Coach?
I mean, you know, it's just fun. Like Daryl said, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Passing time and you know, sometimes you put a serious message out there. Like you mentioned the one about with the baseball team. Like that was a serious message, and it had little to do with the scores and all that, more to do with like, why y'all dudes attacking us? Like y'all sitting there saying this man need to get fired, and y'all saying this man
crazy.
Is it like where did all those comments come from? And not necessarily that where did they come from, because I know where they come from. I'm not dumb, but why didn't they come, you know, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't they come then? And then for me, it's just want to see other people's response. Like I want to see, after you just said that this man need to be fired for underscore, I want to see why you say you didn't say that this man need to be fired for doing the, you know, for what you would call doing the same thing. Not necessarily I would call it. Yeah. What you would call doing the same. So it's just reaction and passing time and having a good time though. Yeah. To be honest with you. It's like Daryl said, it like even Daryl said, like, I got a good friend, my godson's dad, obviously, my godson's dad went to Highland Springs, and his father figure is one of the coaches at Highland Springs, Coach Puka Scott. Okay. And then and me and Daryl are real cool with Tank, his son. And we sit there and joke about this all the time. I think one time he even called his dad on the phone one time. And we just joke. So it's never serious, but it's always, you know, good conversation, good dialogue. And if we do cross each other's paths, it'll be a good game.
Oh, listen, Daryl, your homie who I'm friends with, Steph, you know Stefan, every game y'all won, Highland Springs. He texted me, coming on my page. I said, dude, you know Daryl's my dude. I'm not involved. I ain't no promoter, dog. This ain't boxing. Plus, they can't play each other last year. He said, come on, Vic, shut it up, man. Set that game. I said, Steph, who you think I am, man? I got clout, but I can't do that. But I will say this on a serious note, man. For me, as a guy that's been a part of this game for long, the person I am, the relationships I have, I love what Freedom is doing. I love what Highland Springs is doing. I love what Phoebus is doing. Even other programs who may not be at that level, because you guys are giving up a lot of your time. I saw somebody say, it was actually Lauren Johnson, you guys are spending more time with these players than you are your own family someday. I mean, even tonight, we're recording this late. So a lot of people will see this, but you guys have another long day tomorrow, another day after that. With that being said, as a fan, if that game happens, and I'm saying this right, I know about Potomac, that one year when Potomac played, was it Hilton, and it was standing room only, and I know about the Hampton Phoebus games. I will say this, if you guys meet, it might be one of the top 5 watch games in VHSL history. You're talking about athletes all over the field. But with that being said, we're almost done, fellas. But I want to touch on, Jeff I asked Jeff about his son, Daryl. You guys here lately, you got my man Fuga at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
You guys over the last several years, y'all got players D1, D2, even D3, man. Just talk about like what it feels, guys, now to have players that some of y'all have seen, many of y'all have seen through PME, through high school at Freedom, now playing, whether they're at Power 5 or Division 2. You guys got kids going to college, man. Going to college. How's that feel, man?
It feels great. It's always the goal. And I tell people, man, like I tell the kids, like that's the misconception. People think because, we football that people don't got grades. Like you said, we got kids over the years that got offers from Ivy League schools, Harvard, Yale, multiple kids, not one, not two, multiple. When you look at it and you got, I think we put out a graphic last year, we got 17 kids playing Division I football. And that's not even counting the kids that's committed so far this year. It's a great thing. Then all the kids playing D2, D3. And, I say it to y'all, man, I say it to parents. Free education is the goal. You know what I mean? My perspective on it never changes. I tell the parents, your perspective going to change. At some point, you're going to be telling me Howard ain't good enough. North Carolina Central ain't good enough. Virginia ain't good enough. My perspective is free education and doing all the things that you have to do to obtain that academically, football-wise, everything. The great life lesson that comes out of it with freedom, and facing some of the obstacles is regardless what life deals at you, you got to be able to go after your goals, and you can't make excuses as young minority men why you can't get something done. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And, regardless what I've been through, like you said, it's always, you got PME, right? Great youth organization. Prince William County government even gave me a humanitarian award, not just for the youth, but all the giving back we do. Okay. Then on the other hand, the school system would treat me like a criminal. Like they even showed my picture and Lil Durk picture together to a parent. So again, I'm going to be transparent with my kids, but I'm not going to let nobody else define me. Like I'm going to tell them, but I'm not going to let anyone else define me as a person and who I am to y'all. So I think it's crazy. You might think it's crazy, but the life lessons that's learned and what we go through, it directly correlates to life. Like, that is, and I tell them that, like, nobody wants to hear your excuses why you can't get something done. You got to figure out a way to get it done if it's important to you. And honestly, I don't think I have it any other way. And it's another thing I tell people. If it was ever about me, I would have quit a long time ago.
No doubt.
I would have walked away from it a long time ago. But it's not. And a lot of things, I don't even speak on it because I don't want to take away from what my kids do in the midst of what they're doing when they're playing football. I think the other thing, too, to be said is the foundation of competing at a high level is what we instill, all of us coaches, with PME, competing at a high level. Think about this, man. Winners win. The girls basketball at Freedom, look at us now. We was in a regional semifinal last year.
Yep.
The girls AAU team is 20-9. Football's winning. We won, Coach Rodriguez, 12U, 11U won national championship. Coach Jwan won national championship. 3 other teams playing in the national championship. I think it's a mindset that people are overlooking. And, I think people, when they look on the outside in, I like this. I'm going to be honest. As a young black coach, they look at you like, oh, man, you can't coach. You just got kids. Y'all, they don't know what they're doing. And my challenge to all coaches that's a minority is don't let that be true. Know the game, learn the game. And that's one thing that these guys do a good job talking to me, asking, going to clinics, learn the game. I like when I think coaches assume we don't know what we're doing coaching-wise. And then next thing you know, you look up and that scoreboard then tapped you upside your head. And you're like, dang, these guys know what they're doing football-wise.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I take a great amount of pride in that. You can be cool and look cool and wear hats and have nice shape up and nice clothes. and still be a good person. You know what I mean? And still represent the right things. So I think that's the message that people miss is we put in from you. Think about this, man. If I was in 757 or Virginia Beach, Richmond, they'd be making a statue about me and us and the stuff you're doing with the youth. Instead, the people at the school system, they hate PME. They hate that we got the youth. You know what I mean? And again, last year taught me that they're even willing to hurt kids to get to me. So again, I love it. I love it from a standpoint of we persevere, and I get to be that example to so many kids, like from young to old and then to young men. Like you said, man, it's a good thing. But anyway, I'm not getting long. I know you've been there a long time. But I think that's important that, you know, people miss all that. And I'm going to say this to our community. As Black men, like, I don't care if you a Warriors, a Garfield, a Woodbridge, whoever. Like, why would we keep tearing each other down when we all trying to stand in front of these kids and move our community forward? You over here like Keegan spreading rumors about stuff you don't even know to be true. Because if I said what really be happening, everybody be looking like, this is crazy. Like I said, man, think these people showed a picture of Little Dirk and me. This man a criminal. I've never been in trouble in my life. Not one. So I'm blessed though. I got a great supporting cast, and I just want to be noted, like, you know, PME is so much bigger now than just football. 707, AAU softball, like everywhere you go, you can't go into a school in this county without seeing it.
No doubt.
So that's a testament to my guys. I appreciate you, as always, shining the right light on what's going on. And again, we're gonna all keep doing it for the kids, and that's that, man. And I love it for every second, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No doubt, man. Well said. And with that, man, I just want to thank all you guys, man. Jwan, Coach Cody, Coach D, over across the bridge with Maryland. Jeff, it's great seeing you, man. Thank you for all you guys do. And I'll just say this, man. I'm glad you mentioned it, Daryl. You guys got recognized by the county for giving back a humanitarian award, but you also share your field for other youth teams, for showcase games. You shout other kids out that may not be at Freedom, but they came through PME. You also show love to other kids that didn't play for PME, but they're from Prince William County or even Northern Virginia. I'm rooting for you guys. A lot of people are, and I thank all of y'all on behalf of Vicktory Life for all you guys do, not just on the east side of the county, but for VA. There are a lot of kids you guys are saving lives. So I just want to thank everybody. I want to sign off like I always do, man. Thank you for everybody supporting Vicktory Life on behalf of PME, Freedom High School football team of Woodbridge, Only the Fam, man. We appreciate y'all. Make y'all subscribe, share this video, man. And like I say, every episode, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, make sure you have a positive impact and you leave a great legacy. That's Vicktory Life for you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dwight.